Mr. Owaisi, thank you so much for joining me on the note. Great to have you here. My first question to you is, your party is the AIMIM, with a clear focus, at least from the name of your party and the way you have conducted, towards the Muslims of India. You yourself are a progressive Indian, if I may add, a secular. How do you see the two aligning? The fact that you have a constituency that is largely Muslim, in fact, 90% Muslim or 99%, as some commentators would say. And on the other hand, you say we are there for everyone in the country. How do you align the two?
Well, you see, the answer to your question is that a political party, before it is registered in the Election Commission of India, they have to accept, subscribe, and show full confidence in the Constitution of India. And that is what our political party has done, and we have been contesting elections. As far as the name is concerned, this has been a name for a very, very long time, from 1958 onwards. If you come to name of political parties, then you have the Dravidian parties, you have the Shiv Sena, you have Telugu Desam, you have Akali Dal. But as far as our politics is concerned, yes, it is a fact that we have really worked hard for the political empowerment of the Muslims, but that has not stopped us from excluding the Dalits and the weaker section of society. Because if you see the political journey of my political party, the first election which we contested was in 1960, the municipal election in Hyderabad. And not many people will tell you that out of the 17 municipal councillors that won, 4 were non-Muslims. So that has been, the history of a political party. But yes, people get wrong connotations. They come to wrong conclusions because of the name of my political party. Even the recent municipal election of Hyderabad, out of 44 municipal councillors which we retained, 4 are non-Muslims, and 1 Raj Mohan won for the 4th time from a municipal ward which have a large number of Muslims as well. So as far as aligning is concerned, yes, the Constitution is supreme. We have full confidence in the Constitution, and we have to ensure that our political struggle is within the 4 walls of the Constitution of our country.
Mr. Owaisi, it has always been difficult to unravel the Muslim mind and the Muslim voter in India. The secular parties for the longest time, or rather the so-called secular parties for the longest time, have tried to maintain a grip over this vote. Now this vote, in small measure, I would say, because we've only started with state elections and your performance there, seems to be gravitating towards you. What do you think does the Indian Muslim voter want? And are these wants the same across the country?
Well, you see, the first thing which we must really understand is that as far as the Muslim voter or the so-called Muslim voter is concerned, his hopes and aspirations and expectations are as same as any other Indian. And when they see that the other communities, number one, are politically empowered in terms of having adequate political representation, there is a socio-economic development, and there's a shift towards more educated people in other communities and castes. And also this alienation, which is deliberately being done by the present ruling party in Delhi. So these are 3-4 important points which has really impacted the Muslim mind, and that is why you see that this so-called secular parties, when they come up and say that you have to keep secularism alive and you have to vote for us, Muslims have now realized that their vote has no value, i.e. in terms of stopping the BJP, because the so-called secular parties are not at all able to garner the non-Muslim vote, which has now completely gravitated towards Narendra Modi. And I don't say this with anecdotal, but with empirical evidence. Last time Mr. Modi got 31% of the Hindu vote. In 2019, that increased to 37%, whereas the Muslim vote remains static at 6 or 7% as far if I remember, according to CSDS data. So that is why we see that there is a change on the ground, and especially among the Muslim youth. And they feel that, yes, we need to have political voice, we need to have political empowerment. And the cry on the ground is that we have voted for many parties, now we'll vote for our candidate. Because whether any state elections or the Lok Sabha elections, if you see, the secular party is not able to stop BJP. And also it is very saddening that whether it started from love jihad to Ghar Wapsi to mob lynching, whether it is Corona jihad, now it is comedy jihad. Where are these so-called secular parties? Are you standing with those individuals? Forget about the religion, because you have to stand up with them, because they have been targeted for raising their freedom of expression or their voice. And that is why you see that there's a change, and I hope that this change increases more.
But Mr. Owaisi, you speak about love jihad, you talk about the growing polarization in the country. I know you've spoken out against it. But on the one hand, if the BJP is looking at one particular religious community, you with your party are also looking at the religious identity of a certain community. So what is the difference between the two? Isn't it like the pot calling the kettle black?
Not at all. You see, as far as my party is concerned, we are not saying that we want to make India a theocratic country. We are saying that the Constitution of India guarantees each and every Indian fundamental rights. And the fundamental rights also include right to life, right to equality, and freedom of expression. But where are these fundamental rights as far as the Muslim minority or the Dalits are concerned? And that is where you find these secular parties who call me communal, and I don't know whatever names they have for me. You don't find them standing with the Muslims or the Dalits. Take the recent example of what happened in Madhya Pradesh, wherein a mob, in the name of collecting funds for the construction of Ram Temple, you have some buffoons who went up to the masjid and erected a flag. Muslim houses were looted. Where is that secular party who was in power 4-5 months ago? You don't find them. After 8-9 days, you find them going to the higher police officials and speaking to them. And thirdly, am I saying that I will make certain section of society a second class? No, my whole struggle is to ensure that the constitution promises that were made by our constitution makers are given to us.
You said you've been given several names by these so-called secular parties, as you'd like to call them. But isn't it a fact that had there been no polarization in the country because of the BJP and other right-wing groups, a party like the AIMIM might not have had the kind of success that you're seeing now?
Well, to answer your question, I would say that had Mahatma Gandhi not been assassinated by the conspiracy of Savarkar and Nathuram Godse and company, in my opinion, the Jansangh would have got many MPs elected. Secondly, there has always been a communal politics in this country. I would say a majoritarian form of politics in this country for a very, very long time. Thirdly, I can narrate to you my childhood experiences of how people from Jansangh, the Jan Jansangh or RSS used to come up and raise these slogans. So to say that polarization only happened in 2014, no, I don't agree with you, because if you sow seeds of hatred for BJP or these communal-minded politics, it takes time for them to reap the dividends. And they are reaping dividends. It started in 2014 and now 2019. But yes, whether the demolition of Babri Masjid is an example of majoritarian politics. The killings of Sikhs on the streets of Delhi is an example of majoritarian politics. The massacre in Delhi, what happened in Mumbai in this month, in the month of in the year 1993, 2002 Gujarat. So these are all the things which are always there, and it takes time for this rot to set in, for this communal cancer to set in. Now it has set in, and now BJP is reaping the benefits and dividends of it. And I completely blame these so-called secular parties. And to blame me, I mean, am I responsible for this polarization? No. I have been a victim of this majoritarian form of politics, which not only weakened me in terms of my political representation, but in every sphere, whether in education, equity, everywhere this has happened. So it is wrong to blame me. It is high time that some introspection is done by the majority community, and to see why is it that the BJP is winning, instead of asking me this question.
But having said that, Mr. Owaisi, what does the AIMIM or you see as your role in larger Indian politics? It is quite clear that you're moving from state to state and growing the spread of the AIMIM. Are you always going to play the role of kingmaker? Because ultimately, if a party as strong as the BJP has to be defeated at the national stage or even in state politics, you will have to align with the parties that you're criticizing right now. Will that be an option that Mr. Owaisi will look at if the time may come where you can play a role?
Madam, the first point is that it is my democratic right to spread my party, and every political party wants to spread. I am a representative of a political party, and my job is not to ensure that some political party wins or other political party loses. If you contest an election, someone has to lose, someone will win. And that is the fact of the matter. Thirdly, as far as MIM party having an alliance with these so-called secular parties, it is for them to answer. How is it that you don't even want to touch me with a bar's pole? The problem is that these political parties wrongly assume that they are the so-called defenders and protectors of the Muslim community. You are not. I'll give you a classic example of West Bengal. Miss Mamta Banerjee was with BJP when Gujarat was burning, and now she calls me Asaduddin Owaisi, the B team of BJP. What was she doing when she was supporting Atal Bihari Vajpayee government when a genocide happened, and she was part of that alliance? So this is the real problem. Their ego, their high-handedness, and their so-called intellectualness. They believe that, no, we are the rulers. We will rule and you will have to follow us. That cannot happen. My whole struggle is that, yes, if you want to talk to me, let us talk, but not on the basis of you being supreme and I'm being some sort of a subordinate. That cannot happen at all. Because those days have gone wherein these political parties can assume that they can win on their own strength. Good luck. Go ahead and see and try what happens. Because as far as I am concerned, we are equally opposed to BJP. We are equally opposed to all these parties who claim to be secular, who are not at all secular. I mean, I didn't contest West Bengal, and BJP could win 18 Lok Sabha seats. You have 31% of Muslims. So who's responsible for that? That is why I say that these political parties have always practiced majoritarian politics. They who have reduced the Muslim community to only to the cause of Urdu, or to wearing some sort of a shawl on your head and showing, oh, I was given this taweez by some by Furfara Sharif Dargah, you got that oath in the name of that taweez, but in terms of on actual empowerment of the ground, nothing has happened. So that is why it is for these political parties to answer and to see what they want to do.
You mentioned West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee, even Furfura Sharif, where you went recently. Now, your entry after Bihar and the success that your party saw there, you're now trying to enter West Bengal. Leave aside what Mamata Banerjee is saying. Even certain Muslim groups within West Bengal are saying that you are playing religious politics in West Bengal, where there is no need to do that. You've come from outside. Do you see that as them feeling threatened by your presence, or do they have more merit in what they're saying?
No, I am happy that they are showing their frustration. I mean, the complete frustration. This sort of, oh, you are an outsider. You are playing religious politics. What religious politics did I play? Please show me an example where I played religious politics. Now you have some imam organization accusing me. What have my counter question to those Johnnies is that what have the imams done? And what role have the imams to do in practical politics? What did they contest any election? Are you going to appeal for Mamata Banerjee? Isn't that communal politics? You are an imam, you're so-called imam of a masjid. And what do you know about practical politics? And what have you done to stop the BJP in the Lok Sabha elections? So to say that, oh, I am an outsider. No, I'm not an outsider. I'm an Indian. I have equal right over every part of India. And I'll go and contest. And as far as Furfura Sharif is concerned, Mamata Banerjee got a taviz from one Pirzada of Furfura Sharif, and she went around West Bengal, wherever the Muslims were there. She used to show that taviz and say, oh, look, this is the taviz I got from Furfura Sharif. And this is how she got the vote. But that is not the issue. The issue is that, okay, you got the taviz. Why do you get taviz? To ensure that evil does not engulf you. But what about the people who have given you the taviz? What have you done for them in terms of their empowerment, in terms of their development, apart from saying that you are a maverick and you can only stop BJP? No, that is not the case. The ground is shifting. People have changed, especially Muslim youth have changed. So I find no merit in those people criticizing me for practicing religious politics. They have a right to criticize me, but please do some introspection. You are an imam and you're criticizing me for what?
But Mr. Owaisi, do you see that the country has a strong opposition today? And where do you think these parties, the secular parties, have gone wrong? Why is it that they can no longer garner the kind of support that they once had? After all, India still continues to be a pluralistic society. And you might say that the BJP is winning 37% of the vote. There is still a 63% odd that is out there.
Well, you are right to say that 37 and 63%, but unfortunately, we have this, I don't agree, they have this first past the post system, which is a huge liability as far as our democratic system is concerned. There is, you talk about credible opposition. I mean, why aren't political leaders being allowed to come to that farmers' protest? Why? Because, in my opinion, this farmers' protest is one of the biggest rural protests this country has ever seen. The farmers themselves have no confidence in the bigger political parties. And that is why you see that these farmers have realized that they will have to take the bull by its horns and they will have to come forward and don't allow any opposition parties to come and take over. Because the opposition parties are not able to take on BJP on ideology. The opposition parties are trying to be more Hindu than Mr. Modi. The opposition parties are not able to win elections because they don't know, they have lost this formula of winning elections. And that is why you see that it is this kind of protest which this country will see more, inshallah, wherein different people or groups from different societies or castes will come forward. We have seen this in the Maratha reservation, we have seen the Patel reservation, we have seen the Jat reservation, and now we are seeing this. So where is the opposition? That is the question you have rightly raised. Unfortunately, when you have Congress party which supports the BJP when Mr. Amit Shah brings an unlawful activities prevention act amendment, which anyone can be called a terrorist based on an ACP report of NIA in Delhi. It is the Congress party which supported. It is the Congress party which supported BJP when BJP brought a bill having a retrospective effect, despite the Delhi High Court saying that take action against BJP and Congress for taking foreign funding. So, you have to show difference to BJP. You're not showing that. You are not taking them on ideological grounds because you feel that the moment you take them on ideologically, then you lose the majority community vote. So on every count, on every point which is important to take on BJP, the opposition parties are lacking. And that is why I feel BJP has an upper hand.
But Mr. Owaisi, I'll repeat my question. I asked it earlier as well. If the situation may arise where you have to align with these parties, the parties that you're criticizing, would you align in order to keep the BJP out? Yes or no?
Madam, to answer your question, I would request you from 2014 to 2019 monsoon session of the parliament, you show me one legislation in the parliament wherein my party has supported BJP. I have answered your question by showing how the Congress party had supported BJP. When it came to triple talaq issue, when it came to appointment of information commissioners, numerous legislation, you have seen these so-called secular parties playing musical chairs with BJP. Not me. I have a consistent stand. Now this question has to be answered by these so-called secular parties, whether they are willing to have even talk to me. Forget about having political alliance, because as far as they are concerned, I am the most political untouchable. They don't even want to touch me with a bar stool. So it is for them to answer this question. Because you are right, to stop BJP, if everyone has to come together, yes, you have to come together. But if you tell me, no, Mr. Owaisi, your party must play a secondary role and you must just follow us, that cannot happen. That cannot happen. That will not happen. Because I am reflecting a change in the society, and which these political parties are unfortunately not able to see.
I'll move a little to what we saw in the United States. Unprecedented scenes at the US Capitol. This is not an overnight movement. It has been a consistent breaking down of democratic institutions, of lack of credibility of the media, and of course, a dictatorial leader right at the top. What is the lesson, do you think, for India and Indian democracy? Because we have a lot of people right now condemning what has happened in the US, but somehow one feels that this might be something that might show a kind of a repeat in the kind of scenes we have seen in other democracies as well. Do you agree with that point?
You see, let me give you 2 points. I differ with you on 2 points. One, when George Floyd was murdered by the American police, you had the whole American society, especially the white Americans, erupting in anger against this murder of George Floyd. You have in our beloved country in Delhi the killing of Faizan in Delhi, wherein that boy was lying on the ground after being shot and beaten. His jaw was broken, ribs were broken, and he was told to recite Jan Gan Man. Where is that anger? Where is that eruption by my majority community brothers and sisters? That we didn't see. When it came to George Floyd, you had the whole American society erupting. You had Black Lives Matter. And had I said Muslim Lives Matter, another expletive would have been used against me. Second point is that what happened on the Capitol Hill, one must also understand that the US courts refused to entertain what Mr. Trump and his party was trying to do. their respective state election commission rejected his contention. Even the own ruling party of Republican senators and them rejected, did agree with what Trump was doing. So yes, these are the two important differences. Now, please, let us see what is happening in our country in terms of on these 3 points. Yes, it was very. I was shocked to see what was happening in Capitol Hill. But yes, it is a lesson for all democratic countries that if you allow a leader who has dictatorial tendencies, who believes that he is important than the country, who he believes that the constitution of that country is not important, but his sermons are important, then yes, you will see more of these unfortunate scenes throughout democratic countries, because it is high time that people who believe in democracy, they stop such leaders from winning elections who wrongly assume that they are the country and they are demigods and they represent each and every sector of society. Because if that happens, then you will see more of these scenes. Because if people, we have seen in history how Reichstag was burned, and then you know what happened, the whole extermination, the unfortunate extermination of Jews in gas chambers. So if we don't learn from history, then history will be repeating. And I don't know what genocide or what sort of program would happen in our country or in other democratic countries.
Finally, Mr. Owaisi, there is news of a vaccine coming out. There are already some political parties that are saying that, this is a BJP vaccine. What is your opinion on the vaccine? And do you believe that as a leader who has significant influence over one certain community, that you would encourage the use of this vaccine? Because in the past, we've seen that certain communities have always shown, or certain sections of communities have shown a kind of, reticence towards vaccines. There are already people who are naysayers of the vaccine. What is your thought on that?
Well, as far as the vaccine is concerned, the world requires a vaccine to save a human life. Because you have more than 1.5 lakh people have died in our country. So you definitely require a vaccine. The world requires a vaccine, and I hope that it will be made accessible to each and every person in the world. As far as our country is concerned, I just hope that the phase 3 trials and their results are put out in public domain of any company which is manufacturing that vaccine. But yes, I would encourage people to take the vaccine, especially the elderly people who are above the age of 65, people who have comorbidities, our doctors who have been in the forefront from last 8-9 months. And in my own constituency, I can tell you, if my memory serves me right, at least 700 people died only because of COVID-19. So yes, the world requires this vaccine. The vaccine has the vaccine does not belong to any political party. The vaccine, if it is effective, and if it is effective in saving lives of human beings, then yes, it must be used. Because as far as Islam is concerned, the important teachings of Islam is that you must save your life, and that is how if a life can be saved, the vaccine, yes, we must use it, because everyone has, you have your elderly parents, you have your relatives. So yes, we require this vaccine. I have no issues about that. But to call it a political party vaccine, this vaccine, no, it is the vaccine which has come out because of the hard work of scientists, not because of politicians. And it is a vaccine which God knows how many hours and hours those scientists must have sat there. But yes, all precautions and safeguards must be maintained. There are reports which are coming out from Madhya Pradesh that this has to be corroborated, that people have been after taking that vaccine, they have got infection, some person has died. But if the government of the day says, the scientist community says that it's safe, we have to give it, because you see, you have to save life, you have to bring back normalcy, and that is very important for any society.
Finally, Mr. Owaisi, what is Asaduddin Owaisi's vision of India?
Madam, you are making me kind of some sort of a visionary politician or statesman. I'm not. I am a small-time politician trying to do my best. As far as I want equality. I want freedom of speech and expression. I want peace. I want rule of law. I know these are important things for me, and this is what I'm struggling. I'm trying my best. So these are important things. I want my country's borders to be safe. I want peace in Kashmir. I want safeguard for Dalits and the tribal community. Now these are all things which one doesn't have to go to moon and get some sort of thing for moon. These are guaranteed in our constitution. So as long as we subscribe and when we ensure that the constitution is a living document, and if it is a living document, then these issues must be addressed by any party who governs India or any state of our country.
Mr. Owaisi, for speaking to me and being on the note, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
I'm honored that you invited me. Thank you.
Thank you.